Hi guys, Mayflom here, and today I'm going to be altering a photo frame. So this is just, it's pretty as it is, but not a great color. I don't like how it's kind of a greenish hue to it. Now normally if you can take the back off, I recommend doing that. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's usually fine. What I'm going to do is just take different colors of paint, and I have a scrap of paper here that I'll put them onto. You don't need very much. You're just going to want to put your little colors of paint over here. Now, just to give you some ideas here, you could do this with alcohol ink. You could do this with acrylic paint. You can't really do it with watercolor unless the only success I've had is with heavier watercolors and you apply a gesso substance first. That would work. And I've got a little bit of black here too. Now I was going for a little bit. Sometimes a little more paint came out than I meant to. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We can use it on different projects. Or, I mean, worst case scenario, it's not that much paint. We lost a little paint. Then what you're going to do is you're going to decide if you want the color base. Do you want, how do you want this to be decorated? Personally, I'm going to use kind of pinkish hue here, kind of a pinkish red, and just go around with an inexpensive paintbrush and coat the entire surface. Now in this video, guys, I'm going to show you this entire process. I'm not going to edit any of this out. This is one of my videos where I want to show you real-time quick projects. And while yes, a 10 or 15 minute video might not sound quick, it's the entire process unedited, meaning I didn't, cut and do difficult things or what have you, or wait hours and hours and come back to it later. So I'm not worrying too much here. The idea is to just get a coating of color down. Okay. We're just getting that color down so that we've got something to work with. And then once you have your first color down, it's up to you where you want to proceed. From here, you could do just really light touch-ups, adding colors just to the edges. As you can see, I'm really having to dig to get the color in those cracks. Well, if you didn't want to add color into there, if you just wanted to keep it on the surface, it would be a lot easier. So you need to decide how many colors do you want. What exactly is your look here? Do you want it to be blended? What are you going for? Me, I'm thinking kind of a mix, so I'm going to get another paintbrush, and I'm going to get the darker red this time, and I'm still staying with small paintbrushes, and I'm just going to come in here with this darker color, and I'm just going to tap in wherever I see the original color. So I'm just going to tap this in wherever I happen to say, oh, well, gee, I can see, I can see where the original color is right there. I'm not focusing on how does it look blended, does it look good. I'm not stressing out about anything at all. I'm just, like I said, tapping in color. Now we can go in here and smooth this out if we want. I'm not really worried about that part at this time. Or just keep on getting your color like so. And once you're done with the second color, you could move on to a third color and do something similar. Personally, though, as soon as I'm wrapped up here, this is where I'm going to go ahead and dry it. Okay, this is where I'm going to go ahead and get all the color to dry, just by using a heat tool. And it really shouldn't take very long at all. Just kind of get it dried off. And then as it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and go in. I've got kind of an orange color here that I'm mixing a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of press that in as areas have dried off. And what this is going to do is just that little bit of orange here, it's going to really just mix up and blend up our colors in a really pleasing way so that there's no longer any kind of streaky look here. We don't want it to look like streaky and awkward. We want it to look really smooth. And the foam brush is a great tool for that. We could have started with a foam brush. Personally, I just like the effect when I start with a small paintbrush and then come back in with a foam brush like we just did. Okay. And you can see here I've got the heat tools kind of going around and drying off areas as I go around, and it builds a pretty nice color pretty quickly. To be honest, it doesn't take very long before you're really liking the color effects that you're getting. Which, honestly, this is a huge reason why I wanted to do this project as one of my real-time projects, as one of my no edits, just here we go, let's make something projects. I really like that. Do you like it? I really, look at all the color. So look at the color variation, and you can really see, and we may need to go around a little, you know, there may be spots where we're looking at it and going, oh gosh, you know, that's not filled in. Now, I'm not worrying about it to be perfect, because I want it to have kind of an aged, kind of a distressed look anyway. So what I'm going to do now is just go back through one more time here and make sure that I'm happy with all of the areas that are covered and that everything is how I want it. If there's any areas where I'm seeing the white spots, you know, from the showing through, we can cover them up. Not a big deal. Now the edges, the very edges, I'm going to paint those white. No, I'm going to paint those black. I'm going to paint those black, but I'm going to do that at the very end, and I will actually end up doing part of that off camera because we're going to have to wait for everything to dry. But once we're getting pretty close here, I like the look of this. I like all the different colors, and I like how they've kind of married and blended. We're going to hit this one more time with the heat tool because I do want this to be fairly dry. And then once this is dry, we'll go in with the black paint. So just make sure I only have the one foam brush right now, so I'll make sure this is dry and that some of that paint, excess paint, is off of there. Set my paintbrushes to the side to get cleaned. Okay, so it's not 100% dry, but it's close enough. So now we're going to take black paint, like so, and I'm going to put it on, but then I'm going to tap because I don't want it to be goopy, which will make sense in a minute. I'm just going to tap very lightly. Look at what that does. You see how it's basically it's all picking up the raised areas. You're going to have it pick up a little bit here and there on the base, but not a ton. Look how cool that is. It is just going to pick up and tap, tap, tap. Remember, we're just tapping lightly with the foam brush. Now, you can go back and do this as many times as you want. I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore because you can see it picked up just beautifully. And it's not 100%, but I don't want it to be because I have this like textured aged look that I really want it to have. So you can see how that looks. Now the only thing left to do, and some of the sides, obviously I'm gonna have to wait till it dries, is just, if you want to paint those edges. I like painting them black for this one. I think that's gonna look the best. And we're done. Any other steps? Well, it's optional. If you wanted to add like a glaze coating or something like that, you could, but you don't have to. We're totally done. We just made a project in 9 minutes. There we go. So we're under 10 minutes. Fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments or shoot me an email or ask for any future requests that you might have. I'll see you next time.